How would you like to know where hundreds of millions of dollars are being saved right now by using blockchain? This is exactly what I'm going to take you through in this video so that you can see where the real action is, where the real value is, so that you know where to invest your time and money more wisely when it comes to the blockchain emerging technology. So, Australia's first blockchain supply chain system unveiled at Port of Brisbane. Found it extraordinarily interesting and a brilliant use case for where blockchain can be deployed right now to save tons of money. So the Australian arm of Big Four consulting giant PricewaterhouseCoopers has announced a new trade community system powered by the blockchain technology. Now, this is a huge deal because they're applying this to logistics and supply chain, and it is going to save hundreds of millions of dollars per year, and here is why. I want you to picture a shipping company sending out product to the UK from Australia to the US and back and vice versa. So there's all these logistics transactions going on. Now in the real world, the way this happens is there's so many different offices and ports. Some of them are using paper manual binders and some of them are using different systems to record these transactions. Now very often these transactions are being recorded more than once. Let's just give it a real world example for a second. Imagine that you are Joe Blogs from Australia and you have just sent X container out to the UK to Sarah Smith, and you record that in your binder. Now Sarah Smith in the UK wants to know what's going on with her shipment, so she contacts you back in Australia, Mr. Joe Blogs, of which you're then having to find that binder or go into that system and get those details, etc. Only to find that the shipment's been recorded twice and there's two different unique references, so you're not sure what to tell Sarah Smith. Now, according to PwC, this happens about 15% of the time. Human error, inefficiencies, and duplication happens about 15% of the time. Now, I want to take you back to a slide. For those of you who are watching this on LinkedIn, you've probably not seen this before unless you saw me speak at the Blockchain World Summit in London. But I spoke on this slide called The Future Evolution of Blockchain. And I said there that the technologies that are going to win right now are not the disruptive technologies. They're not the disruptive blockchain solutions that are going to change entire industries. That will take like 30 years to really take full form. The ones that are going to win are going to be the ones that help to make the cash bag bigger. What is going to add immediate value into my books today if I deploy this, where I'll get a return on investment within 1 to 2 to 3 years. These are the technologies that are going to win. So between now and the next 5 years, those are the technologies that are going to win because they're going to use blockchain to solve a problem that couldn't be solved adequately without the use of blockchain. And in the next 5 to 10 years, that's only going to increase. It's going to move into the finance industry. It's going to move into other industries and departments within commercial businesses. And also from a social media point of view, is also going to become a big deal in terms of privacy. So that's how we really see blockchain evolving. Now let's go back. This is a prime example of that actually happening. So I'd like to just read a quick paragraph from this article because I think it's very, very key for you to have a good understanding of what are the technologies we should look out for and also how do we capitalize on what's happening here. So the trade community system proof of concept is the first stage in building an innovative end-to-end supply chain that will digitize the flow of trading information. Now, I want to just stay on this point for a second. I'm very passionate about the flow of information. For those of you watching this that know about lean or lean manufacturing, a lot of the time we talk about the supply to product. And since very, very early on in my career, I've been more interested in waste elimination when it comes to the flow of information. Blockchain is a profound tool to help make that happen. So we're talking about having one version of the truth, eliminating waste, and we're talking about less friction and more speed. Now we know that technologies that are cheaper, faster, better, that have less friction will always win. And we can see this happening now with blockchain. The article does go on to say that these inefficiencies can cost up to $450 per a container. Now, when I think about that, that means that we're talking billions of dollars worth of saving a year if this implementation worked perfectly and got rid of all inefficiencies. But let's just take a worst case scenario. The worst case scenario, and I've calculated this, if we take 15% of the average amount of shipments sent in and out of Australia's ports every year, which is about 9 million shipments, if we take 15% of that and we assume that we're going to save half the cost being quoted here, we're talking about $300 million per year in savings. So just to recap on what we're saying here and why this works, blockchain is a distributed ledger of trust. It's an authenticated, distributed ledger of trust, meaning that the information about these logistics shipments in supply chain is not just stored in one database in Australia. It's stored on a distributed ledger that everybody has access to, or at least everybody with the right key has access to, so they can go in and see that transaction. Joe Blogs doesn't have to go to Sarah Smith anymore and say, oh, hey, Sarah, what's going on with my shipment? Joe Blogs has access to that one version of the truth. Or was it Sarah Smith who bought from Joe Blogs? I can't remember. Anyway, now let's just say you're watching this on LinkedIn and you have a supply chain organization in your company, or you are a supply chain manager and you're wondering, well, how can we utilize this to save us money? We don't have millions of dollars to invest in building a blockchain technology. Well, my answer to that is you don't need millions of dollars. If you use a blockchain system, a protocol that's already pre-built, and they are out there, you just need programmers that can connect into that existing blockchain system. So there are ways right now in your business that you can save tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And I hope that this article and video inspires you to go and do that. I want to finish on one point here where we can see that the cryptocurrency market is down about 25% right now in total market cap. It dropped like that over about the last 3 weeks. And I think a lot of people are thinking that cryptocurrency and blockchain has had its day and it's over. And I really want to address those people, especially traders watching this right now. If you want to make money in blockchain, follow the value. The same thing happened with the .com bubble. So let me go back to a slide. You can see that we also had a bubble with the .coms. And over time, what happened is prices are now higher than they've ever been. That bubble burst, but prices recovered. And the reason is because technologies like Google, Amazon, Apple, these technologies are what increased in value. So follow the value. It's the same in blockchain. There are blockchain solutions happening right now. I've just given you an example of one. There are blockchain solutions happening right now that add tremendous value, that make the cash bag bigger. So here's my prediction. When it comes to companies reporting in the stock market, the ones that are now saving hundreds of millions of dollars on their bottom line because they are deploying technologies that their competition aren't, are going to be favored by investors, and investors are going to put pressure on other businesses to get ahead of the curve and start doing that. So the entire market, so the entire value chain here should improve. My guess would be find the companies that are saving heaps of value because they're investing in blockchain and buy shares in those organizations. Make sure you do your due diligence, make sure that you do your research, but you don't have to make money by trading just the cryptocurrency itself. You can actually make money by investing in the businesses that are deploying blockchain as a solution to add money to their cash bag. So that is really the way to look at this market. Not, hey, the cryptocurrency prices are down, the market's crashing. It's not. The market has never been growing this fast. I can tell you there are more apps, or dApps, I should say, being released on Ethereum every single month than the month before. This market is only growing. There are only more applications being built. And sooner or later, the real world technologies and the real world value is going to start really showing itself, just like it did with the Googles, just like it did with the Amazons. And now we're seeing PwC talking about it. So I hope you found this video useful. Until the next one, take care and talk soon.